Hello students, as our usual practice, for this time also we will be practicing objective questions. So this session we will be covering 10 questions from different chapters. I will disclose the chapters after the discussion. Okay, so we will move to the first question. Any money transferred to unpaid dividend account UDA which remains unpaid for dash from the date of such transfer shall be transferred by the company along with interest accrued if any to the IEPF, Investor Education and Protection Fund. So this provision is basically related to section 124 of Companies Act 2013. So we know that as per section 127, if you are declaring dividend, if a company is declaring dividend, the amount of dividend to be paid within 30 days of declaration. Correct? So if it is not paid, you will have to transfer the same to unpaid dividend account in the next 7 days. It will be remaining in UDA for 7 years, and if it has remained there for 7 years, it will be transferred to IEPF. So the answer will be 7 years. So if an amount of dividend is remaining in UDA for 7 years, it will be transferred to IEPF. Okay, and we know that most of the funds like mature deposits, redemption amount of debentures, redemption amount of preference shares, then application amount due for refund etc. will be transferred to IEPF if it is remaining in the company's account for 7 years. We have learned the same in the credit of IEPF section 125. Okay. So the second question is general insurance business means fire, marine, miscellaneous, any or all of this. So the option will be D, any or all of this, because all these insurance are coming under general insurance only. A person who is below the age of dash years is disqualified to be appointed as director. See, the question is related to director, but when you are seeing the question, you may have a confusion that the provision of 196 subsection 3, disqualification of MD, manager, whole-time director will be coming to your mind. That is, a person who is below the age of 21 or who has attained 70 years will be disqualified to be appointed as MD, manager or whole-time director. See, the question is only director. It is not asking about MD, whole-time director or manager. Okay. For director under 164, there is no provision regarding age, but the provision says that if you want to apply for DIN, okay, you have to attain 18 years. So the correct answer is 18, which is not available in the option. So you can take the option none of this. Okay. So in 164 disqualification, there is no mention about the age, but for applying DIN, a person has to attain 18 years. Okay. A person who fails to get appointed as director in general meeting cannot be appointed as dash. See, this is additional director. So additional directors are the director appointed by board of directors. So it is clearly specified in section 161 subsection 1 that if a person failed to get appointed as director in general meeting, that person will not be eligible to be appointed by the board as additional director. So the section here is 161 subsection 1. Okay. So Mr. Saxena is director of Suvalakshmi Limited, which failed to file its annual return from financial year 15-16. So from this provision, it is clearly understood that the provision is related to 164 subsection 2, disqualification of director on the basis of default of company. Okay. So the provision says that if a company failed to file annual return or financial statement for 3 consecutive financial years, all the directors, all the person who are directors or who were directors will be disqualified for a period of 5 years. So the answer will be 5 years. Okay. Every banking company shall transfer to reserve fund. See, this is section 17 of Banking Regulation Act. See, it specifies that you have to maintain a reserve fund and you have to transfer minimum 20%. Okay. But RBI has requested all the banks to transfer 25% while it's circular. So the answer is 20. 25 is request from RBI. The provision in section 17 says that you have to transfer 20%. A person can be director in 20 companies. This is section 165 subsection 1. Number of directorship. So a person can become director in 20 companies. So while computing the limit of 20 companies, we will be excluding dormant company and section 8 company. So the answer will be both A and B. Okay. Then a company shall not declare any dividend on dash if it has failed to comply with the provision of section 73 or 74. 73 is related to conditions for accepting deposit and 74 is repayment of deposit accepted before the commencement of Companies Act 2013. So the provision clearly specifies that you cannot pay dividend if you have you cannot pay dividend on equity shares if you have defaulted in section 73 or 74. So the answer will be equity shares. In case of an insurer carrying on the business of life insurance or general insurance, the minimum paid up capital shall be 100 CR. Okay. For life or general, as per section 6 of Insurance Act, minimum paid up capital requirement is 100 CR. For health insurance exclusively, it is 100 CR. For reinsurer, it is 200 CR. So while computing the limit of 100 or 200, you will be deducting preliminary expenses. Okay. The board is entitled to appoint an alternate director in place of a director termed as original director during the absence of original director from India for a period of 3 months or above. So it is clearly specified in section 161 subsection 2, alternate director will be taking charge or they will be appointed by board if the original director leaves India for a period of 3 months or above. Okay, so these are the 10 questions for the day. So these were taken from the chapters dividend, appointment and qualification of directors, insurance and banking. So we will be covering more chapters, more questions in the coming days, and we will be trying to include as much as questions as possible. Okay, so we may continue with 10 or 15 questions, or we may continue with 25 questions just like we did in the last attempt. Okay, thank you, take care.